Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We're going to take just a moment to let folks make their way in, and then we'll get started. And just so folks know, as they're making their way into the room or watching the recording, this webinar is to support students, Global Scholar students who are leaving Oakland and heading to London for spring 2025. So we're meeting with our student support and development team. So if that's you, you're in the right spot. Um, if not, feel free to hang out or join us another time. But we'll give folks another minute to make their way in. All right, we're just going to get started so that we can move through the presentation. For folks who don't know me, I'm Dr. Shannon Fairley Pittman, Director of the Global Scholars and London Scholars Program here at Northeastern. We're so excited to be able to be with Global Scholar students today. So folks who are in Oakland, heading to London for spring 2025. And we are holding this webinar with our colleagues in the Student Support and Development team, which is the folks who will support you in your transition around what might be called reasonable adjustments or accommodations, and they will get into the thick of it in just a moment. But before we do that, I just want to remind folks that this webinar is being recorded. So for folks in the room, but folks who might be watching online, of course, this webinar is recorded so that you can watch it back, share it with anyone that you need so that they have the right information about your transition from Oakland to London for spring 2025. And you can always access it at that time during our playlist, our YouTube playlist that has been shared with folks. For folks in the room today, if you have any questions that you want us to specifically get to, feel free to place your question at the Q&A box. It's at the bottom of the screen there. You should be able to see that. And should you post a question, it might show up in the presentation. So our team might not answer it immediately. But if we don't get to it during the presentation, we will be calling out some questions to our team at SSD at the end of the presentation. So we will call them out. If some questions are very specific to that individual, likely we might ask you to email our student support and development team at their email, and we will drop that email in the chat box for folks. But again, for folks who are online watching this, that is student support at inulondon.ac.uk. So you can email them at any time and they'll be able to get back to you. And for folks watching this, you'll see that at the end of the presentation as well. But just wanted to call that out. But with that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Nicola, who is representing the Student Support and Development team over at NU London. So I'll turn it over to Nicola now.
Right. Thank you, Shannon. So hi, yes, my name is Nicola. I'm from the student support team and I'm a student wellbeing coordinator, and today I'll just be taking you through what student support do and our processes and just what will happen when you come over to the London campus as well. So if you pop over to the next slide for me. Thank you. So it's just getting an idea of what student support is. Student support, we're a very centralised team, so we make sure that with a lot of our students coming over to the London campus that we are building a very confidential space and a personalised space for them too. And that does involve if you have any queries or any sort of things you wanted to share with us in terms of the support that you might need, whether this is in class or for exams or just day by day as being a student who is just having that experience in the London campus. We are there to pretty much be that support system for you. And that can be done in various ways, which I can take you through to the next couple of slides. So Laurie, if you can take me to the next slide. But what I'll start off with is that I'll give you a bit of a short intro to our student support team. So we have two student support coordinators, one named Chloe, other named Jade, and then we have our student wellbeing coordinators. That will be myself, Lucy, and Femi. And what we do as a team is do sort of like various amount of support in terms of creating learning support plans, and that does involve also making sure that students have reasonable adjustments in place, or how it might be termed as learning accommodations as well. And that does involve having probably like classroom exam adjustments, and probably any type of support that you might need on your course program. It does also involve looking at different ways to support you when you're transitioning from high school to university, and that does involve having like maybe well-being, disability, or any type of support appointments. With a lot of our students that we see day by day, sometimes it could involve transitioning and feeling a little bit homesick, or making new friends, or just adjusting to the new environment in London. And we do work on a one-to-one basis with a lot of our students around that too. And that is known to be in an open sort of way where you can see us like in person on campus, or you can call us over the phone, or you can come to our drop-in on campus as well. So there are various ways that we do that too. When it comes to coming to our team or meeting with any of us or any of the coordinators in our team, we don't just look into internal university support, which is meeting the coordinators or the different members of staff at the university for any extra support, but it also does involve exploring external support. So if it's to look at counselling or to look at any other medical care, we can take you through those next steps in a one-to-one, or however you may see us flexibly when you meet us on campus or online or over the telephone. So pop over to the next slide. Thank you. So as I mentioned in the last slide, there are many different ways that you can access our services. We don't ever have a limitation for any of our students, because we do understand that everyone does have a preference in communication and in meeting us or engaging with us. So we do have a telephone, as shown on the slide. You could also arrange a Zoom appointment with us as well, and you can meet us in person. We have our student support rooms that you can meet us in if you want to arrange a one-to-one appointment. And we also have our drop-in sessions that run, I think, normally from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. During the campus time. And these are sort of different ways where you can meet with us to discuss any sort of queries that you have. It could generally be like a general student query or concern or worry, or any information you need to know, or it could be wellbeing related, it could be financially related, it could also be disability related as well. So these are the different ways that you can access our services, and there's definitely no limitation at all. So if you are ever having like a question that you have in your head and you think, I don't know how to access or ask, you can try and use these different ways to do so. And again, you can also email us as well if you have a query that's popped up and you're unsure. And to email us, that's through studentsupport@nulondon.ac.uk as well. So over to the next slide. Thank you. So in terms of how reasonable adjustments work in the UK, when it comes to reasonable adjustments, we do create them into a learning support plan. They're mainly subject to the UK law and academic standards. So whenever we have reasonable adjustments here, it will differ very much from how it might be in Oakland or Boston, to how it is here in the UK. And for us as a team, we try and make sure that when we're applying reasonable adjustments for our students, that it's according to the UK practices and law and the academic standards that are applied here at the university at North Eastern London. That does also involve making sure that whenever you're having reasonable adjustments in place, that it was contributed towards your academic studies and your program, and it also applies towards the learning outcomes that are part of your requirements of your course program as well. Mainly when it comes to having like exam adjustments, our main current standard form of adjustments for that would be 25% extra time. This does reflect our academic practices. Nevertheless, when it comes to this, in terms of having that extra time, it's just to make sure that it's aligning our teaching and learning sort of practices. So it's not to limit any of our students, but to make sure that we are following sort of the practices that we have in place. If you're ever unsure or don't understand how that particular process works in terms of extra time, we do have more information on our NU London page as well, which is in the slide here, and I can probably share at the end of this webinar as well. If you're ever unsure as well and you're needing more extra information, you can email us too, and we can provide more information about this. But ideally, we do say that most of this information is on our NU London website. So this will reflect all the exam adjustments and classroom adjustments that we offer at the London campus too. Right, so to the next slide. So when it comes to actually having the learning support plan in place when you're coming to the London campus, there are a couple of steps that you will need to follow. The first step is that once you have actually disclosed your disability or whether specific learning difference or long-term health condition to the disability access services, you will be contacted by the student support team. This will be commencing the week of the 18th of November. So please make sure that date is specifically kept in your diary. Just to remember, be the 18th of November. And once we have reviewed your evidence and the things you've disclosed, then we'll start creating a learning support plan for you in place. And then you'll get the chance to meet with a member of staff from the student support team to go through the learning support plan document with you. And that is through a one-to-one appointment. This can very much be online because it will be prior to when you actually start and enroll onto your course as well. And then afterwards, once you've actually gone through the learning support plan and you've agreed to the adjustments that are listed in your learning support plan, this will also be shared with faculty and the student assessments team in the London campus. And this is for any classroom or assessments or exam adjustments you have. So you will not need to reiterate to your faculty member or to any other member of staff, unless if you feel comfortable to do so. But ideally, as a team, we normally share that information for you so that prior to your exams, that information is already there and it's already put in place for you as well. So that will be the main process for a learning support plan. But again, if you're ever unsure, you can always ask us how this works, or you can refer back to the webinar recording if you're unsure about how the steps work. To the next slide. So our main timelines for the learning support plan at NU London, they have to be finalised within 6 weeks prior to the assessment. So that's mainly for midterms and final exams. But for all adjustments, they have to also be confirmed by us as the student support team by the 24th of January 2025. And this is to be in place for the midterm exams. So if you are wanting to request reasonable adjustments, please make sure that you give yourself the most appropriate time to get everything in place. That includes like evidence and all the information that you can share to us so that we can review everything that you need ready for the midterm exams as well and guarantee that it can be in place for you. To the next slide. So additionally on part of our service, we also have specific learning differences advisors, so SPLD advisors. We have two, Matthew and Jenny, both very lovely advisors that can help students that have a diagnosis of ADHD, autism, ADD, dyspraxia, dyslexia. And if you do have this diagnosis or you disclose this type of diagnosis to us, we would be happy to share it with our advisors as well. And that just mainly involves just having different types of study support and study skill support and mentoring support around how you can manage your workload, how you can build new different sort of learning strategies academically while you're on your course, and just sort of breaking down possibly like different academic information that you get. So it could be for assignment briefs that you have, or for an upcoming exam, like how to break down revision, or how to get an understanding of the different bits of information you've received from a faculty member regarding maybe feedback that you've received recently. So these will be sort of different ways that they can support you on a one-to-one basis as well. And this is normally also done in a confidential space as well for you. So if you feel that you're needing that space to get that advice, it'd be in a one-to-one, just as similar for us and our team as well. On to the next slide. So yeah, as mentioned before, they provide one-to-one study skill tutorials and mentoring support as well. And as shown on the slide, there are just so many different ways that they support our students at NU. And I think as a few of them, they create toolkits for you in a one-to-one, and it's a very personalized way of providing study skills to you. So as every student does work differently and has a different pattern and a different way of transitioning from high school sort of academic skills to university skills, they work with the student in a personalized way to get an understanding of what would work for them, whether it is their pattern, whether it is their learning strategy, whether it is how they want to organize with their time management or with their writing, their reading skills. Those are sort of the things that they like work towards in supporting a student on a one-to-one basis in their support appointments as well. So yeah, on to the next slide. So on this part here, we have our campus. So we actually have two campuses. We have our main campus, which is Devon House and Portsoken. And in our campuses, we have about different level entrances to the building. We've got 4 lifts available in all areas of the building. Some of the lifts might be heavily operated, the doors to gain access for the lifts as well. You might need to have accessibility to it. But we do provide support to our students in knowing their way around the campus in terms of accessibility to certain rooms, like a quiet study room or the lifts, or just different spaces where they think they can adjust to that room better. All core areas of the campus have accessible toilets as well. There's also accessible hot and cold water, drinking taps in the main campus hub, and a hearing loop system as well. But especially when you are coming into campus, you will have that chance to be shown around just to get like a gist of what the surroundings would be like at the campus, and that's both at Devon House and Portsoken as well. But like I've mentioned before throughout, if you're ever unsure about anything, you can ask our team and we can support you through this in terms of getting an idea around the campus and getting used to what it looks like as well. Yeah, so on to the next slide. And as mentioned before, as you're wanting to stay in touch with us and you have any queries or you're unsure about anything or you've just got a burning question, yeah, you can email us at student support, and that will be studentsupport@nulondon.ac.uk. And we also have our disability email, which is disability@nulondon.ac.uk. And you can use any of our social media platforms as well if you want to stay in touch with us. So, all right, so yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicola. Just want to take a moment to mention that we currently don't have any questions in the chat, but we'll hold for another minute or so to see if anyone who's on the webinar might have any questions that they want to ask out to our colleagues. But so far, this has been great information, very, very helpful for folks who might have joined late. this webinar is recording, and so we will send out the recordings to all of our students and any parents that they have listed on their contact. And so folks will receive those recordings very soon, probably before the end of the week or early next week. If you don't already have our YouTube playlist, I'll ask my colleague to put it in the chat. Please do bookmark this and save it. This is where all of our transition webinars will live. So if you don't receive the email, you can always go to this YouTube playlist. This is where all of our webinars will be listed. And again, if you have any questions as you are navigating this transition, really, really helpful for you to be able to email our team over in student support in London for them to be able to help you navigate this transition. But with that, I will see if there's anything else that team might want to call out or remind folks to be thinking of as they're transitioning that you haven't already mentioned. So I see no questions in the chat. Nicola or Mary, any other things you might want to highlight before we call it quits?
Um, I guess really if you do have any queries or you're unsure about anything or prior to the process of reasonable adjustment you think, oh, I'm not really sure if there's a particular question, if it's been answered or not, you can email us. Never be shy to do that. We're always happy to answer your query. And yeah, so it's just to make sure that you have all the information in place ready, and so it gives you a smooth transition for when you're joining us at the London campus in January. But if you do have any queries, just let us know.
Awesome. All right. Well, then thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Lori, for dropping in that YouTube playlist. There you go. So folks who are on the call, feel free to bookmark that. All recordings will be live there for future resources. But thank you so much for the student support and development team in London. Thank you, Nicola, for presenting. And we will see you all soon. Have a good day.